Good afternoon to all. I am Aleksander Kabishev, a poet and writer from Russia. I am the author of the idea and the organizer of Hyperpoem World Record project. Today I will tell you little about this project achievements and prospects for the near future. For your convenience, I will divide my story about Hyperpoem in two parts. First part of Hyperpoem, background. The idea of Hyperpoem project started in the summer of 2020. Then, as a part of work on Demago group, it was planned to create a large internet poem with participants of several dozen authors. However, at that time, the project didn't receive proper coverage and attention from poets and their readers, so it was suspended for a while. Everything changed in the fall of 2021, when the number of group approached 10,000 people. After that, poets began to ask about the express desire to take part in it. Of those events, the project was restarted. Project idea. The idea of project is very simple: to connect as many authors as possible within the framework of a given topic, international cooperation and friendship, to set a world record in the Guinness Book of World Records in the direction of largest poem in the history of making by number of participant authors. To participate, each authors need to write a quotidian within a given topic in their native language or English and fill out a participant questionnaire or form. The questionnaire is designed to protect copyrights and at the same time give proof that participant is a real author. Progress. Now more than 1,800 poets have taken part in Hyperpoem. What deserves special attention, there are authors from more than 90 countries, and most of them offer poems in their native language. Plans. Now main task to collect 3,000 quotidians by authors, but Hyperpoem will not stop there. There are already plans to work in 2024 and continue to connecting the authors after recognizing the record. In addition, after obtaining a world record, Hyperpoem is planned to be present as a monument of world literature in UNESCO. Conclusion. Also, the current situation in work still difficult, but projects such as Hyperpoem allow authors from different countries to get to know each other and exchange creativity and establish universal friendship on planet Earth. And even though it may seem impossible now, but great things begin from small things. We are for world peace. Second part of Hyperpoem. There are also some important additions to Hyperpoem that require qualification. About certificates. As promised, we provide all participants free certificates, diplomas, of participating in Hyperpoem project with registration number. In fact, this will be also a document which confirming your participating in the book and in the project. We also received many questions about the possibility of receiving ordering a book. As you already know, the book is now available both in electronic and paper form on the publisher website. But some participants have problem in ordering for technical or financial reasons, while we don't have opportunity to provide the full version of free book, but we are still working on options that will particularly allow us to implement this. About timing and prospects of Hyperpoem. Already many authors want to continue participating or reconnecting of Hyperpoem, and we have opportunity and offer for all of them. For newly connected authors, we have offer participating in a second volume of Hyperpoem on the same terms and conditions as in the first. A good continuation for the book would be connecting a total 3,000 poets in first and second books by 2025. This will be a good reason to release a new book and consolidate our result. On the other hand, we have an organizational proposal for participants in the first volume to become volunteers and ambassadors of Hyperpoem. That is a part of this work, inviting new poets to talk about Hyperpoem, international cooperation and friendship around the world. A little bit about dreams. Potentially, Hyperpoem has no limits for duration and number of participants. It can exist for decades and even accepted hundreds of thousands of writing people from all over the world who want to share their creativity and not just poem, but their message for the world, their individuality, their culture, their best employers and dreams, even only in 4 lines. And who knows, even if you don't have the opportunity to get a book now, maybe years later your children or grandchildren, knowing that you took part in Hyperpoem, will be able to get it in store or library on the next street, and even find a piece of your pathetic soul on pages, or even take part in this poem too. In the end, I would like to draw your attention to the fact that right now you can take part in Hyperpoem and become a part of the largest collective work in history. To do this, you only need to write one criterion in the topic of international friendship and fill out a participant questionnaire. That's all for now. Thank you so much for your attention. In the following posts and videos, we will tell you even more about news and opportunities which Hyperpoem open us. Thank you.
Hello, dear participants, members of publishing houses, publishers, editors, and other staff. My name is Dragana Pavlovic Ribac. I come from Bosnia and Herzegovina. I am a translator, a writer. I am also a literary agent for some writers from Bosnia, Serbia, Montenegro, an ambassador for Kyoto Publishing House for Bosnia and Herzegovina. And I would like to tell you something about my writers and about my cooperation with Kyoto Publishing House. First of all, I work with many great authors. I will now represent some of them and their books that are published by Kyoto Publishing House. I will first represent one lady, Mrs. Olivera Jelkic, who was at Frankfurt's book fair with Kyoto Publishing House. She has her own interview there, and she has 2 books published by Kyoto. She is nominated for Astrid Lindgren Award in Sweden. She is also one of the greatest authors that I know, and she writes children's books, books for adults. She was also a lawyer for 40 years, and her books are based on true stories, very modern themes. Indeed, for example, drug trafficking, human trafficking, organ trafficking, and so on. She is the most awarded author that I know, and one of the greatest at all. I also have many others. Some of them are also publishers, not just writers. For example, Mr. Planjac, Bajruzin Hajro Planjac, is an author and publisher. He writes children's books. His books are translated in many languages, world languages. He's also published in Turkey, in Macedonia, Slovenia, Serbia, and so on. His books are autobiographical, and these are children's stories, and he also has some picture books with great illustrations. He has a great illustrator. Also, I am working with Mr. Šimo Ešić. He is one of the greatest authors, children authors that I know. He was nominated for Astrid Lindgren for 5 times. He is also a publisher from Tuzla. He has publishing house in Wuppertal in Germany. His books are translated and published in many countries. He is also published in Kyoto with his picture book, Philippine Closets. And I have Mr. Fakhrudin Kuchuk, who writes fairy tales for children, very nice fairy tales full of magical creatures, wizards, and elves, dwarfs, and so on. He is also nominated for Astrid Lindgren. and they all have many books to offer to publishers, great books in my opinion. And I also have one more author that I would like to represent, Mr. Srđan Aleksić. He is a great author from Serbia. He writes anti-war books, war thematic, so very interesting in this modern time. I have many others, but I do not have enough time to mention them all. So I would just like to say that I'm working also with the Institute for Children's Literature in Belgrade, and they do cooperation with many world countries, China, Turkey, Germany, USA, and so on, and they publish their books in exchange, so that these publishers publish books from Serbia and authors from Serbia. I'm also their representative. Also, I'm working in an association for writers. This is my plan for the next year. I will make an association for writers and translators in Bosnia, Herzegovina, Montenegro, and Serbia. And then I will have a definite list of all the authors that are worth of mentioning, and I will have all the contact list. I will have translators who will translate those books on different languages. I will have publishers in Bosnia, Serbia, and Montenegro that I am now working with, but I will work on some huge plans in the future. So my work and cooperation with Kyoto seems going very well till now. They have published many books of my authors from my country, and I'm grateful on that because we will continue this mutual cooperation. I would also like to say that their stand on at Frankfurt's book fair was great. We had a good time there. We had some interviews, and I would like to continue this cooperation in the future. So all the best for holidays, and good luck. My phone number, as well as my mail address, and LinkedIn, WhatsApp, and all other, Facebook, Twitter, and so on, I will share in my biography. So thanks for your attention. Bye.
Hi, I'm Tali Carmi from eBook Pro Publishing, and I have with me Maor Kohn. Maor is the author of The Peacekeeper and several other thrillers. He's also a doctor for environmental science and public health, and creator of some TV series like Tehran and some musicals, and he's also a musician.
Yes, sir.
Hi Maor.
Hi Tali.
Please tell us a little bit about your book.
It's a thriller that talks about a chase after an international criminal, a terrorist that tries to change the whole Middle East, to build a new world, to end the war in the Middle East. But while he's doing what he's doing, he's becoming a terrorist himself. He's creating a lot of chaos. And there is an Israeli agent that is running after him, chasing him, trying to bring him down and stop the chaos that he creates. And suddenly she finds herself, her personal life and herself, as a character within his world.
Who is the Assyrian and where did he come from?
The Assyrian is a very complicated character because he's good and evil. He was a boy that born in Iraq in the middle of Iran-Iraq war in the 80s, and he lost most of his family in the Iraqi wars. We're talking about the big hits that hit where he lived. We're talking about the first Gulf War and the second Gulf War. His father died when he was a child, in front of his eyes. His mother killed in an American bombing, but she did anything she could do to bring him to college, to the academy world. He was a genius in mathematics, and she just collected dime to dime to send him to England to study in the university, the best universities of the world. And he became very, very educated, very, very rich. And then he decided to use his knowledge and his money to change the Middle East.
What is your writing process?
Okay, my writing process is pretty usual. I do it in all of my books and all of my scripts. It's the same process. The first thing is that I'm doing is I'm going to study. I have to fall in love in some kind of a story. It's usually a realistic story or a realistic character that I know, and I want to write about it. So the first thing I do is I find a nice story which I begin with, and then I'm writing some kind of synopsis about the character and about the stories that I want to add into the book. And this process takes me a couple of months because I need to understand the whole idea of where they're standing, what's going on with them, the environment, the society that they are living within, their ideas. And this is the first thing that I do. The second thing that I do is I fell in love with the character itself. I go into the character and I try to understand, to emphasize what kind of character, what does she love, what does she do, what is its history, where did she came from. And I'm writing a whole CV about each and every one of the characters, and I put both of these things, the synopsis and the characters, together in a long synopsis of what happened in real life. And I'm doing it in some kind of a table. I have a table. I always use the same table. One side is the dates, things that happened in real life. The second thing is the ages of the characters. Who is the character, who is the main character in each and every one of the scenes. And the third column is always about what happened in real life, what happened to this character in this specific scene. So after I have all these three together, I will go and make a treatment. The treatment is how all of these scenes are going to appear in the book. It's not always like it was been in real life, because you're going from one scene to another, you're going forward and backwards, and you get a new kind of arrangement for the whole synopsis, and we call it a treatment. All this process is something that usually takes me 2 or 3 months, and then I go. I'm going to the next step, which is writing the book, and this is something that usually takes me a couple of weeks. I mean, it's very, very fast because I know everything. I know the characters. I already know what's going on with them, and the only thing that I have to write right now is how they will react in each and every one of the scenes. I have to write the dialogues. I have to write about the environment, where we are standing, how does it look, where everything is taking place. And after that, I actually already have the book, and that's it. That's the process in general.
How well do you think you have conveyed your emotions on paper?
Well, this is a complicated question. I think that when I am writing about some kind of a character, some character, it doesn't matter who it is, I always getting myself into her mind. So I need to feel what is happening in the field, because I understand in the process that if I won't do it, it won't go out. I mean, nobody else will feel what happening to the character. So I need to be scared. I need to fall in love. I sincerely feel that I'm falling in love in the character, that I want to be with her, that I want to talk to her, that I want to do what she is doing. And it's not a cliche, it's actually happening. Because if you don't do it, I think you get lost. I think the character will be very, very one-dimensional character. You will not understand why she's doing what she's doing. So this is very important for me. So if I'm starting to write something about a character and I see that nothing is happening to me, that I don't have the passion to act with her, to fight with her, to win with her, I'm leaving this character. I'm just firing her. But it's true. I mean, it is a process that you have to do. I think that you have to do. Character is very important, and that's why there's something else that I think should be said about the characters. I mean, this is something that when you are writing about the character, when you are creating the character, you need to know her top to bottom. You need to know everything about her, what she likes, what she's doing, why she's doing what she's doing, everything about the character. It's very important because she won't be able to play in this environment if you won't act like her, if you won't be the one that is acting like her. So I truly fell in love in the character, even if it's hateful one, even if it's the bad character.
Love and hate characters.
Yes.
Yeah. Maor, I know you have some experience in writing a TV series, like the series Tehran, that you're creator of this series. Yeah. When you write the book, do you think about how it would look as a TV series or a movie?
Definitely. I think I read a lot of books, thrillers myself. I love to read thrillers, and I think I learn a lot about the thrillers. And I think that a good thriller is the one that gives you a very good vision about how things will see in reality. And this is something that I really like. It's like a movie. You just dive into the environment, and you can see everything, and you can feel everything. You can feel the air and the breeze, and you can feel smells. And this is something that's very important. So when I'm writing, I always think how I can change later this book into a TV show or into a movie.
Are you working on anything else at the moment?
I'm working on, first of all, the third and the fourth book is already in process in your company. And we'll see the daylight pretty soon. I'm working about 2 more books of 2 different series, which would be the 5th and the 6th book. And I'm working in the Israeli televisions about the TV series that I created, and another TV series that is now in the processing in one of the Israeli channels. So yes.
So you have a lot going on.
I have a lot going on. It's very fun. It's very fun. I like it very much. And when we finish it, we'll look for another career.
What advice do you have for other authors?
I think each and every one of the writers has his own pattern, his own way of working. If you would ask me, the most important thing, in my opinion, is to work in patterns, to understand how you build the story, because many things about the story, about the book, is not just the story itself, it's how you present it to the public. So I talked a little bit about the characters, and I talked a little bit about the environment, but I think the way that you present the story, I mean, you can tell any kind of story if you know how to be a storyteller, to put it in the right place in the story. So I think the thing that helps me the most is to create this treatment that I was talking about. Treatment is something that you can actually rebuild the whole story in a new pattern and then present it to the readers in a very interesting way. So this is I think this is the advice that I can give to other writers. To write treatment. Yes, to write treatment. To have the don't skip this. Don't skip this level. So another advice that I have for other writers is to be very passionate about again, about the story and especially about the characters. I know that I'm talking a lot about the characters, but I think characters are the most important things in the story, because you have the envelope of the story, and the envelope is something that is sometimes realistic, sometimes it's not realistic, but it's just behind the scenes. It's not the scene itself. The scene itself is what the character will do. And if you want the character to do something very important, you have to be passionate about it. My writing, for example, is very fast. When I'm sitting to write, I'm writing very, very fast because I know exactly what's going to happen. And if I feel that I don't know what's going to happen, I'm starting to argue with the characters itself. I don't always approve with them. I sometimes fight with them, but you have to add some kind of emotions to these characters. You have to hate them or to love them or to do something with them, because that's what makes it so dramatic, from my point of view. And I know it works the same whether you write a script for television or for a movie, whether you write a play for the stage, or even if you write a book. It's the same thing, because characters are the dramatic story. That's what happened in the story, and that's what your readers will follow eventually. Even if you talk about some kind of a forest or a plant or something that is not moving at all, a house or something, the characters will give it the essence. So you have to be passionate about it. So this is, I think this is the good advice that I can give to other writers.
Okay, and I have a question of my own.
Okay.
Your book is a lot about the Middle East politics, geography, war, terrorism. How do you gather all this information? Do you study before you decide to write the book?
So first of all, I have a degree with it from the academy. I learned it in the university for many years, and I'm working in the academy. So I have some of the knowledge, and I think that I have the tools to learn something that I don't know. So if I want to understand something, I want to understand the geopolitics of the area, I know where to go and to read about it. And yes, before each and every one of the books or the script that I'm dealing, I always do some kind of a research. It takes me a lot of time, but I have to do a lot of reading, and I'm going to Google Maps and just look for places and understand these places, and then go and learn a little bit about the history and about the archaeology of the places. And I find it very interesting. So this is a good starting point for a book.
Thank you, Maor, for speaking with me. It was so interesting, and I hope to speak with you another time about your next book.
Thank you very much, Tali.